was younger, I was in Walmart and I was eating a tube of Pringles and I ate them while my mom paid, but I forgot to let the guy scan them, so I walked out the Walmart and the alarm went off and I just started running because I got scared and my mom couldn't find me because I was hiding behind the newspaper things, and the Walmart people called the police because I was missing, and when I hear them show up I thought I was a criminal, so I left my mom a note on the newspaper that said I went to Mexico to start a new life and not come looking for me, and then I took off running with my Pringles and ran for like an hour, and then the cops saw me walking down the road so they pulled over, so I started running again, and then they were using the car intercom thing and they told me to stop running. So when I did, I thought they were gonna put me in handcuffs and take me to jail, so I was crying and I slapped the officer in the stomach and tried to run again, but he just held me back, and when he asked me what happened to me and I told him, he started crying because he was laughing so hard. And he just gave my mom $2 for the Pringles and he was still laughing when he left. And that's the time I was a wanted criminal.
So y'all remember how PE teachers used to make you run the mile in elementary school? Well boy, do I have a fucking story for you. So I was out on the field running my second lap and my stomach started hurting because my fucking mom decided to buy McDonald's for breakfast. So I asked the teacher if I could go to the bathroom and that bitch ass Trump gorilla looking motherfucker said no, so I just kept running and prayed to Michael Jackson that it would go away. So I'm on my third lap and I have to fart. And on God I pulled a 𝗬𝗧cie𝘄𝗲𝗿. So much shit came out that I could literally make a 4-course meal with it. And a chocolate fountain for dessert. I was about to fucking cry. Obviously I wasn't gonna tell my teacher that I shit myself, so I just said I felt like I was gonna throw up. So I go to the clinic literally holding my hands on my ass so nobody would see my shit. When I get to the clinic the nurse tells me to sit down, but in my head I'm like, bitch, if I sit down your chair is gonna look like the chocolate river from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. So I just lean on the wall until my mom comes to pick me up. When I stand up off the wall to go to the bathroom my shit is smeared on the wall and the nurse looks at it and she's like, what the fuck? Was that you? And I was like, ew, hell no, and I run to the bathroom and my whole ass had shit on it, and when my mom picked me up I started crying because she asked what smelled like dog shit and she thought she stepped in something and I had to tell her it was my ass.
So I was sitting in the cafeteria when these two girls walk up to me. They kept complimenting me. And I was so confused because these were the most popular girls in the school, so after they kept saying how pretty I finally asked them what they wanted. And one of the girls named Gabby told me I'm invited to her birthday party that was later that day. I was so happy, so I kindly accepted. Later that day the girl who invited me sent me her address. So when it was time I got my mom to drop me off there. I walked up to the door and knocked a couple times and nobody answered, so I waited for almost an hour and realized no one lived there. I was so angry now because it started raining outside and I had no way to get home because my mom was on a dinner date and I had told her to come get me at 8 p.m. and then it was 4 p.m. So I started to walk home, and the whole way
I ran over my brother. Story time. Growing up, my brother was the worst. Like, he would do anything to ruin my fun. Like, anything. So one day I was playing outside and I was building an amusement park for the ants to play on because, you know, they need to have fun too. And it was really cute. I made it out of dirt and sticks and leaves. I worked so hard on that thing. They had roller coasters and Ferris wheels and little restaurants to eat at. But they never got to enjoy it because my brother came over on his bike and ran over the amusement park. It was completely destroyed. And when I got upset about it, he laughed at me. So I decided I was gonna get some revenge. So later that day, we were in the house and he was laying on the floor talking on the phone with one of his friends. So I was like, this is the perfect opportunity. I got inside this little car that my parents bought me for my birthday. It was something similar to this, but just not as fancy. And I drove up to him and I was like, and he was like, what? And I was like, this is for the ants. And then I ran over his head.
Story time. So this was 2 years ago and I was at school and it was a normal day until the principal went on the speaker and said, we're in lockdown, go in your closets. So we went ahead and went in the closets. We were all confused. Some people were scared. Everyone was like kind of asking the teacher what was going on and stuff. Now during this time, I wasn't asking anything or saying anything because I knew during a lockdown you don't want to say anything. So if there is someone in the school, they won't find where you are. But I was still listening to them because I was curious like everyone else. So while everyone was asking the questions, one girl stood up and said, if you're not going to say what's going on, I'm going to get out of the closet. The teacher yelled at her and told her no. And the teacher yelled loud, so whoever was in the school obviously heard. So the door opened and everyone became silent.
So today in English class, our English teacher was going through the rules again, just because I guess like some people were forgetting them or like breaking the rules. So anyway, she was like, just to remind you guys, there's no food in class. no talking to your neighbor without permission. And if I catch you with your phones, then you're gonna have to have it taken away and your parents are gonna have to come get it. And when she said that part about the phones, this kid raised his hand, and he's like a really creepy kid. And he was like, well, what if I shoot you? Like, hold up, what? You just threatened to shoot a teacher? So I just like looked at him and I scooped my desk away, and the whole class went silent. Like, nobody said anything. We were all just staring at him. Like, we were all just in shock. Like, did he just threaten to shoot a teacher? After like 10 seconds of it being like completely silent, he reached in his backpack after he said he was going to shoot someone.
About 3 weeks ago, I went to my best friend's house for a sleepover. We are both girls and she has her older sister. Anyways, her sister never really talked to us because she was really popular, and to be honest, I was a little bit scared of her. We went to my friend's room and started watching a movie. My friend fell asleep and I drank so much coke, so I got up to go to the toilet. I walked into the bathroom and I accidentally saw her sister's shower reflection of her grinning cat and Peach in the mirror. She was so fucking fit when I tell you I never wanted to have a body more. I didn't think she had heard or seen me, so I waited patiently outside for her to come out because I swear my bladder was about to burst. She came out in her towel and said, like what you see, and walked past me into her bedroom. She beckoned me into her room and I thought she wanted to
Okay, so here's a scary story time on how I found someone staring at me in my sleep. So basically, I used to go on FaceTime with my friend like every single night and fall asleep on the phone. And basically, I told her it was like 2 in the morning. I was just gonna go to sleep for like 30 minutes and tell her to wake me up in 30 minutes. So I fell asleep and she ended up not being able to wake me up and she just hung up. But then I woke up about like 4 in the morning and I saw a text on my phone from her and I thought it was just a regular text, but that was not the case. Basically, it was a picture of me sleeping and someone was in the corner of my room staring at me. And it wasn't like a shadow or anything, like you could clearly see it. And she just texted me and she was like, what is this? I was terrified. It was a man in a black coat, and I can show the picture if you want me to, but it was literally terrifying. And I didn't sleep in my room for like months. I slept on the couch for months.
Story time of how my crazy ex-stepmom tried to kidnap me. So my mom and dad are divorced, obviously. Okay, so here's some information that you need to keep in mind. My dad and my so-called stepmom are usually off and on a lot. This is also semi-important. I go to my mom's Mondays through Fridays, and on Fridays my dad picks me up from school and I go to his house till Sunday. Well, one day on a Friday, my stepmom comes to the school to pick me up. She does every once in a while, so I didn't really question it. On the way home, she was acting really nice to me, but strange at the same time. She said that she was going to take me to some ice cream shop and she needed my phone for GPS because apparently hers died. About 40 minutes later, I asked her, I was like, how far is this ice cream shop? And for about 2 hours, she kept saying, we're almost there, we're almost there. We then arrive at some hotel, and then she said my dad was going to meet us there. Everything just started to seem really off to me, so I asked her for my phone back. She then replies with, no. Then I ask her why, and get ready for this. She says, because I'm your new mom, so I'm your boss. I'm running out of time.
Story time. So like a few days ago, my whole school went on lockdown. Like, we were all in it. We weren't allowed to leave our rooms. Like, it was another normal day. It was a Monday. I was very moody because, you know, nobody likes Mondays. But an announcement came out of the speakers saying nobody was allowed to leave their classrooms. Like, we were stuck. Thankfully, I was stuck in the computer room, so I got to play on the computers. Yeah. So everybody in the school was stuck in their classes. Nobody knew what was happening. Not even the teachers knew. Like, not even the teachers. A rumour went round that there was a school shooter, and like all of my friends were really worried that there was. I didn't believe that though. Anyways, I just happily watched Biden and Trump arguing whilst everyone else was worrying that we're all gonna die. But it turned out that somebody in one of the years had coronavirus, so nobody was allowed to leave.